A very good morning, my dear friends, and namaste. It's wonderful to connect with all of you today. And today is the day 4 of our web series, and today is a very exciting day. And the reason why I call it as a very exciting day is today we are going to look into a very hands-on approach on how you can use data analytics. No doubt, every day by day we are slowly moving into the transition. We are slowly understanding step by step what happened. So day one, we understood what is the concepts. Day two, we looked into Excel. Day three, we looked into advanced Excel. And today we are in day 4. And today we are going to look into how you can use data analytics functions using the power of CAT tools. Correct? So computer assisted audit tools and techniques. So CAT tools basically what we're going to use today. So today's session is going to be very exciting, and to bring in that sort of a spirit and to bring in that sort of an energy, we require a wonderful speaker. And today with me I have CA Abdul Rafiq, or I popularly call him as Rafiq sir. So Rafiq sir has been a veteran in this profession of data analytics, and over the years he has amassed so much amount of knowledge in this space that you give him any sort of a problem, he has a direction how you should be approaching that particular problem, and that is something which I really liked about him. And he's been my mentor, and I am privileged that he mentors me, that he adds a lot of value added insights about how profession and how you should be looking into this field of technology. So to give a quick introduction to Rafiq sir, he passed the CA final exam in 1985, and in the year 1995 he did his CISA, which is from the Osaka, USA. He has an expertise on data analytics, business intelligence, and a governance framework by name COBIT, which most of you are aware of. He has an experience in multiple roles, in the roles of a CFO, CIO, IT consultant, auditor, software architect, COBIT trainer. So you name anything on technology, he has a perspective on it. So that is something really nice. And he's done wonderful workshops when it comes to data analytics or IT audit or CAT tools or COBIT, and not just in India, across various chapters of ISACA in 14 different countries, more than 14 different countries. And he's one of the senior most faculty of the DISA course of ICAI. Probably he was one of the pioneers who brought in the course of DISA for our institute. And he's contributed to a lot of publications, articles, anything, various publications on IT when it comes to ICAI and general domain. He's designed and delivered courses on IS audit. He's a past member of the 12-member COBIT 5 task force of the, which designed COBIT 5. So that itself is such a wonderful thing at an international perspective. He's an expert reviewer for COBIT 2019, which just came up probably a year back. And he's a chief architect of various data analytics solutions for auditors. And he's developed a few tools called as ECAT, TCAT, E to TallySoft, SoftCAT, ProCAT, various things like this. So on that note, I would like to warmly welcome Rafiq sir, and who's the current managing director, who's currently in the managing director of Windsor Infotech, and he will take us through the data analytics journey from a CAT tool perspective, and he will take us through how practically we can get started with data analytics. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Narasimhan. Narasimhan, as always, is very generous in his praise. Now, he was talking about my journey of making presentations across 14 countries, and maybe I have covered about 100 countries in my career, about more than 35 years. Whereas I think if you look at the lockdown period, about 40 days, I think Narasimhan has already traversed more than 10 countries and maybe about 50 cities through his webinars. So he has converted this COVID from a challenge to an opportunity, and he has gone worldwide. So this shows you the pace at which you can keep growing. I might have taken 25 years to go to 14 countries, but Narasimhan has already covered this in 14 days. Okay, let's get started. Now, the perspective of my presentation is to give you an overview of what data analytics is all about, and specifically using CAT tools. And I want to take you into the future in terms of what the road ahead and why do we need to reskill ourselves using the data analytics tools. And this I'm going to use a specific software for the purpose of the demo. I'm not here to market the software, but I want you to understand the concept. You can use the same concept, apply it in Python, apply it in R, apply it in Excel, or there could be software solutions also which have this concept. I'm going to touch on about 25 to 30 functions, primarily from the perspective of data analytics. Let's get started. I'm delighted to be here once again doing this webinar for Narasimhan. And I'm really happy to see there are a lot of you available here. Some of you might have already attended many of my presentations. And every time I try to bring in a new perspective. Because for me, the first and most important thing is that we should be able to grow. And when I'm making any presentation, my primary objective is how can I simplify the concepts so it becomes easier to adopt. There are 4 parts of my presentation. First, we are going to ask some key questions pertaining to data analytics, especially in the context of CAAT tools. Second, we are going to look at what are the strategies and steps we can adopt for using data analytics. Third, this is where I'm going to spend a significant amount of time, where you're going to have walkthrough and demo of 2 software. I'll show you the software with specific functions to show you the simplicity and the power of data analytics software. To demonstrate that if you know how to use Excel, you can also master data analytics tools. And the fourth one, I'd like to leave you with some tips and tricks based on my experience. Now let's get started with the key questions of data analytics. There's one interesting slide which most of the speakers would have used. The 3 useful sets for professionals. One is the mindset, second is the skill set, third is the tool set. Now I want to explain this concept by 3 short stories. Okay, each covering this concept, and then we'll discuss this further. If you can get the moral of the stories, then I'm sure you get why I'm talking about the importance and relevance of data analytics. Let's first talk about mindset. Let me take you back more than 1,000, 2,000, maybe 5,000 years ago. A young mother got her young child to a great rishi. Now, those times there was a Gurukula system. She brought the young child and told this guru, who was a famous astrologer also, to take her child as a disciple under him. The guru, being a famous astrologer, asked the child to show the palm. When looked at the palm, he found this child was not having the line of education in his palm. So he told the mother, sorry, I cannot take your child because this child doesn't have the line of education. So all the time he's going to spend with me is going to be waste. So it's better that you put him in some other area. The mother was disappointed. She cajoled and requested again and again. The Rishi Guru did not relent. So she went away disappointed. After 2 weeks, this young boy came again alone to the Rishi and asked him, Guruji, I want to become your disciple. The Guru looked at the boy and said, last time you had come with your mother. Now why have you come again? I've already told you, I don't change my decision. The young boy opened his arms and showed it to the Guru and said, Guruji, you said line of education, why don't you look at it again? And when the Guru looked at the boy's palm, he was surprised there was a line of education. He said, I distinctly remember this line was not there when I saw you last time. The young boy said, yes, Guruji, you told me this was the place where the line of education was supposed to be. So I went back. I was very much this time interested in having education. So I cut my palm lightly so that the line of education now appears. The Swamiji smiled and said, although you are not destined to have education, considering your determination, you will definitely will have education. You will become a disciple. And this young boy later on went on to become the greatest grammarian of Sanskrit language, and he was called Panini. Now, this is all about mindset. We need to have the right mindset because mindset can change destinies. I remember Swami Chinmanda used to say, what you meet in life is destiny, how you overcome it is your free will. Now let's go to the next set, which is the skill set. All of us as professionals have different skill sets of varying degrees depending on our area of experience and expertise and the amount of time and effort we have spent. Let me take you back maybe another 4,000, 5,000 years back. During the time of Mahabharata, the Arjuna and his guru was Dronacharya. There was a young poor boy called Ekalavya who wanted to become disciple of Dronacharya. So he went to Dronacharya and told him that to take him as a disciple. Now, when the Guru Dronacharya saw Ekalavya's skills, he found that this fellow could beat his student Arjuna. So he told him, I cannot take you a student because I train only Kshatriyas. This young boy Ekalavya was very much disappointed. He went back, made an image of Dronacharya, kept in the forest, and began training himself, observing how Dronacharya used to train. After some period of time, he found that he had become very skilled. And later on, when Dronacharya met, and he asked, how could you become skilled? Although there is no guru, he said, you were always present with me in the form of an image, and I used that. Okay, later on, another part of story is there where Dronacharya asked him to give the gift, and he asked the thumb to be given as a gift, and Ekalavya unhesitatingly cut his thumb and gave it off, which means all the skill set he acquired, he sacrificed at the altar of his guru. Now, this is about skill set. So, what does the moral of the story show? That you can develop skill sets if you are prepared to spend the time and effort. Now, in the modern era, we have one great guru, and that is the Google Guru. And under Google Guru, we have the YouTube Guru. We also have WhatsApp University. We also have Instagram Institute. We have the Facebook Academy. Like that, we have multiple things. It's important that you choose the right guru and know how to ask the right questions. So there is no dearth of knowledge if you are prepared to spend the time. This is about the skill set. Now let's come to the tool set. Tool set. Every professional has a set of tools. Let me take you back again to the times of Ramayana. After the war was over, Hanuman went back to his hometown to visit his mother. And he was narrating the story of what all happened in the Ramayana, in the war with Ravana and how he was killed. His mother wondered and told him, Hanuman, you know your power. With just a sweep of your tail, you could have removed the entire Sri Lankan army. And Hanuman paused and said, yes. But he said, nobody told me to do so. So what does this show? That Hanuman had the tools, he had the capabilities, but the guru or the master did not ask him to use the tools. They went the hard way and fought the battle. Maybe there is another reason for this, but the story demonstrates that it's not just enough to have the tools, you also need to use the right tools. In the modern age, when technology is available in abundance, it's important that we have the right mindset to get started. Second, we should know how to practice and use these tools to develop our skills so that we can practically learn how to implement. Like Baba Ramdev says, Yog karne se hota hai. Technology also, you learn by doing, not just by reading. So this gives you the context. So data analytics requires all the three sets. Quite often I come across a lot of gurus, Excel gurus and so many other gurus. Everyone has got expertise in some particular software and they feel that software is the ultimate. But what you need to remember, that every tool set has its own limitations, has its own objectives. So it's important that you know what tool to use when. Now let's get started. Let's look at some concepts pertaining to the mindset. They say it's important that we should stop talking about problems and start thinking of solutions. Now, our perspective should be, let problems come from anywhere, let solutions come from you. As a chartered accountant, we have to change our mindset from the compliance-oriented fault finder approach to a solution-oriented approach. What enterprises require now is solutions to their current problems. Now, we need to ask this question, are you a fault finder? Are you a solution provider? Similarly, if you look at another perspective of mindset, growth, they say, is your willingness to give up what you are to become who you can be. Without give up, there is no go up. Now, currently, you might be busy in doing certain tasks and functions, in doing certain professional jobs. You need to look at the future and then decide, is this what you want to continue 5 years from now, 10 years from now? What you should be willing to give up, because finally we have got 24 hours in a day. What is that you want to focus on? So you should be clear about that so that you can start focusing on what is most important for you. So unless you give up, you cannot go up. So you need to decide what you want to give up. Now the question you need to ask is, are you prepared to give up to go up? And what is that you are prepared to give up? They say all balloons go up. You must heard of the famous story when a black young boy came to a balloon seller and asked him, pointing to one particular balloon, does the black balloon fly? And the balloon seller looked at this black young boy and told him, it's not the color of the balloon, it's what inside the balloon which makes it fly. As chartered accountants, it's not our designation, but what we are able to do with the skills we have to go up in our career and provide value addition to our clients. So they say all balloons go up. Now it's important to decide what do we want to put inside our head so that it can come as an output and value to our clients. What skills do you need to go up in your professional career? This is where you need to relook and rethink and re-strategize about your future professional career. They say vision. Your vision should be broad enough, and the vision should not only focus on work but life in general. So why wait for the COVID to change? We know COVID has come; it's going to be there for some time. But we know very well that, in fact, in our religion, they say when Allah created the world, He also created what is the destiny. When He created the disease, He also created the cure for that. The only question is there a testing period through which we go through, and we'll be able to identify how we are able to fare up to this. So the cure is already decided. The only question is when are we going to discover it? First, it's important. If you remember the whole context of my presentation so far, I spent 10 minutes to prepare you to the context. Because once you get the context right, once you get the mindset right, which is the most important thing, then the skill set and the tools that can follow. So most important thing is first digitize your thinking and then automate a process. And then you will be able to create your own new digital future. Most of the times I found CAs tend to buy software as a tool and deploy it and think that is a panacea for all the problems. Software solutions or IT solutions do not solve problems. First, you need to put a process in place and then you need to automate the process. I've come across many CAs who bought the software, but they don't have a process for using the software. They don't know what specific tests they want to perform. For example, I've come across CA firms who have got a beautiful checklist which talks about what is to be done in each of the areas. For example, fixed assets, bills receivable, bills payable. For each of the areas, they got a checklist what is to be done. And the most important ingredient which is missing, how it is to be done, is what is missing. So once that how is missing, then it becomes ad hoc. Every person who does the audit does the work in their own way, which is not really repeatable and which is not really, you can say, demonstrable from the point of the peer review. So if you want to bring in value addition, it's important that you standardize the process. For each type of an assignment, you need to develop a checklist. For each type of checklist, you need to develop the specific audit test you're going to perform and what tools and techniques you're going to perform, how the tests are going to perform. You should train your staff and also ensure that the results are monitored and reviewed. Now let's come to the 6 key questions. I'm going to quickly answer some of the answers for these questions of data analytics. Some of you may be already knowing. These are the 6 famous questions which you need to ask for in learning any subject. What is data analytics? Let's get the context. Data analytics is all about asking intelligent questions to the digital data using the right tools and techniques based on your domain knowledge and skills. Now, what is important to you must have remembered a fool with a tool is still a fool. So when you want to use data analytics, it's not about giving the most powerful software. It's about the person having the domain knowledge and skill sets. That's why I always say the manager or the partner has to implement a standard process based on the domain knowledge, based on the expertise and experience of the specific clients, and develop the specific audit tests so that the audit objectives are achieved or the compliance objectives are achieved. So it's not just about having the right tools and techniques, but it's also about demonstrating or using your domain knowledge and skills to develop these right tools and techniques. Now, Narasimhan also talked about this. We are in an era of data deluge. We are surrounded by data, but we are starving for information or we are starving for insights. Using data analytics, you can harness the power of data and get insights. One of the questions which is commonly asked, as CAs, are they data analysts or data scientists? I think there should not be any doubt about this question. With the domain knowledge and skills we have, we are most suitable to be data analysts. Data scientist is the prerogative of the engineering community or the development community. So in our case, wherever we are looking at business oriented solutions, we are looking at how we use the specific tools and solutions without becoming programmers so that we can develop insights and provide value addition to the management. Data scientist is a separate field. This is from the engineering perspective who develop the automated solutions or who use programming languages like Python and R to become data scientists. I'm not saying as a CA you cannot become a data scientist, but you should know that this is the area of specialization. If you are interested, first I'd suggest first become a data analyst, and then you want to develop your own solutions, then you can become data scientist. For example, in the last 10 years, we might have developed so many software solutions, but I have not written a single line of code. I don't know coding. I don't know programming, but I know what is the business context. So I design the solution, give them the context, give them the logic, and I walk through the program to check whether the logic is correct and it's delivering results. And that is what being a data analyst. If I'm sitting and doing the coding, like for example, we had Mr. Venugopal yesterday. Now, if you give any problem to Venugopal, he's such an expert in Excel that he says anything I can do in macro. You just give him the time, he'll do the coding himself. Nobody can do. He only will sit and do the coding, and he'll develop the solution and give that. Now, that is the perspective not only of a data analyst, but is also acting like a data analyst, a data scientist. Okay, so I think the distinction is clear. Now let's go ahead. Where can we use data analytics? Wherever digital data is available, in whatever format you can perform data analytics, and that can be used for data analysis or business intelligence or compliance assurance or for fraud investigation. Now this is a very, very important slide. Why should we use data analytics? They say there are 3 I's, and that is inferring insights from information. This is fundamentally the objective of using data analytics. Another important context I want you to know, what is data analytics all about? It's about applying thought to technology. So it's not just about data which is available, what insights you can gather by applying your domain knowledge and skills, by applying your thinking to the technology, using specific tools and techniques, what is the result of data analytics. Now let's look at some strategies and steps you need to adopt. Maybe I'll spend about 5 to 10 minutes and then we'll go to the demo, where in the demo, I want to spend about probably 50 to 60 minutes giving you a quick walkthrough of specific tools and techniques. When to use data analytics? Now this should be clear. What will be the assignment? What will be the format of data? Now yesterday we talked about structured data and unstructured data. Data analytics is primarily used for structured data. Now here we are not talking about unstructured data. Maybe later on that we can look at, once you become specialist, then you can also look at using unstructured data. For unstructured data also, there are various tools and techniques available. For example, the tweets which are there, which are posted, can you analyze the tweets and based on that look at what are the positive responses for a particular product? Similarly, let's say the Facebook posts which are there. Can you run through the Facebook post and look at what is the trend as far as the Facebook posting is concerned? Who's talking for and against a particular individual or against a particular concept or philosophy? And that's what I think there's one company who did, and they got into problems using the Facebook data. So that is unstructured data. Here we're not talking about unstructured data. We are primarily talking about structured data. So if data is available in a digital format, then you can perform assurance, compliance, or consulting assignment using the data analytics. Now, how to use data analytics? Now, this is the most commonly used phrase, that data is the new oil. We agree, data is the new oil. Now, if you want to just look at the power of this data, just look at the valuation for Google or Facebook or for WhatsApp. What is that we give them this valuation? They don't have so much of physical property or physical assets. What they have is nothing but the data. Not only the data, they have an information system through which they can harness the power of data. So what is most important, especially from a CA perspective, is do we know how to unlock the power of this data? So this is where you can use data analytics as the engine to use the power of data. For example, you may have the best fuel, but you also need to have the car with the right engine to be able to use the right fuel and take you to your destination. Now, this I think demonstrates the effectiveness of technology. I have looked at it from two perspectives. If you see here, we're talking about technology and work done. Now, if you see here, if you look at the impact of COVID, anyone who used anyone who used technology effectively, I think it did not impact them in a big way. For example, if you look at Wipro, they declared the financial annual results within the specified time. For them, if you go to the website, they say 93% of staff are working from home. There is no impact on the work. Similarly, if you look at so many companies who are technology-oriented companies, they just had to make a small shift and allow employees and empower them to work from home, and they're able to operate. Similarly, I was talking to many CA firms, and there are CA firms who are highly technology-oriented, and there are CA firms who are not technology-oriented. Now, I found CA firms who are not technology-oriented. So when I asked them, they said, "Yes, Madam Sir, we have given leave to staff because we cannot do anything." Second thing, the clients are also not ready; they don't have anything. So you need to remember one important thing. This is where you need to study your current systems and processes, the type of work you're doing. You need to remember one fundamental principle. If the work is routine or repetitive, then you find that you can automate it. And the higher the level of automation you can do, the higher will be the benefit for you. Let's now come to specifics and look at what are the services provided by CA. Now, broadly, we can put them into 5 buckets. It could be pertaining to process outsourcing, regulatory compliances, audit and assurance, consulting advisory, litigation and assessment. These are the broad areas. Now, I want to ask you a question. Where do you think data analytics could be used? Is it applicable in any specific area, or is it applicable in all the areas? Just think. Most of you would be using some or the other tool in each of these areas. I think the answer should be very distinct and clear that we can use data analytics in each of these areas, but the level of usage would vary. Mostly, if you look at audit and assurance, this is where data analytics would be extensively used. Third, regulatory compliance also. Second, regulatory compliance also, data analytics would be extensively used. In process outsourcing also, this could be the third category where we can use data analytics for the purpose of generating various types of reports. Consulting advisory, it's mostly skill-based. This maybe data analytics could be used to lesser extent. Litigation assessment, here also we've got various types of software available, automated solutions available. You can do various analysis, but it's more skill-based. The litigation assessment would probably come under the 5 level. So it means data analytics or automated solutions could be used in all these areas, but the level of implementation, the level of usage would vary depending on the area. Now let's look at the specific area of work and see where can we use data analytics. Broadly, we can bucket the type of work we do into 4 areas. Office management systems, where we look at client, work and staff, accounting and finance, MIS or CFO, or we look at compliances. We can also do consulting and filing, or we can look at assurance, strategy or management. Now, can you tell me where can we use data analytics? I think the answer is what we gave earlier. Data analytics could be used in all these areas. Now, if you look at specific examples, what software solutions are available for data analytics? In accounting finance, if you're using a solution, for example, let's say you're using SAP, or you're using QuickBooks, or you're using Tally, most of the accounting software also have reporting and queries. Using the reports and queries, we can generate various types of reports and perform data analytics. In the case of office automation, for example, you've got MS Excel, which is an excellent tool. Okay, you also got various utility software. You also got Power BI. This also could be used for data analytics. And then we have specialized software. There is data analytics software, which is also called as computer-assisted audit techniques and tools, which could be used as an audit to Excel. This is one-time solution. This is what I want to demonstrate. There are also special data analytics software with their own database. which can be installed, and we can import the data from various types of platforms. For example, it could be Excel, or it could be text format, or it could be any database format. You can import the data into the data analytics software, and you can perform specific data analytic function. What is the data analytic function? I'll come to it a little later. And then we have high-end statistical software which can be used for high-end data mining and data warehousing. Here we can also use statistical analysis tools like we have SAS. We also have Python, R, 9. These are all high-end data analytics software tools. Many of these are also available as open-ended programming solution, which means if you've got the expertise in the time, you can spend time and develop expertise in this area. But now the basic question you need to ask is, do you want to become a programmer? Are you specialized in developing solutions for using the programming languages? If that is the area of interest, then definitely take a Python or R, or to some extent as required you learn so that you can guide your team to be able to use it when required. I've also come across CAs who are using Python and R to some extent, or 9 to some extent. So you can use depending on this. But I'm saying this is not a fundamental requirement. As a CA, it's important you should know how to use the relevant tools as required. Now, data analytics we know is growing in the growing digital age. Now, the fundamental question we need to ask is there a better way? And what is this better way? Can we provide assurance, ensure compliance, and provide validation? Can we be more productive, more effective, and more timely? The answer is a definite yes. If you know how to harness the power of data analytics, you can definitely provide better assurance for your clients with a greater assurance for you, because you know that you actually navigated through the digital data and come out with the analysis which is required, which gives you assurance to the client and validation to the client. And you also have an assurance that you have done your job using your skills, using the tools, and you have covered the data extensively so that you know that you have the satisfaction of drilling and mining through the data to provide insights as required. You must have seen the advertisement. An actor prepares. Anupam Kher has got an institute where he talks about he teaches acting skills. Actor prepares. So any actor, famous actor, if you see, they spend time in preparing for that role. They immerse themselves in that role and become the character. And when they act, it doesn't look they're acting. They actually become the character. Now, if you're using data analyst, I think you should remember that data analyst also prepares. As an auditor, if you're providing compliance or assurance or consulting services, it's important that you prepare. How do you prepare? You need to understand the business processes. You need to understand the technology architecture. You need to understand in the technology what is the hardware, what is the system software, what is the database, and primarily what is the application software they're using, and what is the format in which the data is available. What are the key business processes? What are the business controls which are available? And then, based on the business objectives, what tools are required to be able to perform this role? Every professional has certain tool sets. For example, if you look at a nurse, she has got certain tools. If you look at a doctor, he's got certain tools. If you look at a surgeon, he's got his own tools. Now, if you give a knife to a doctor, he cannot perform surgery. Only surgeon can perform surgery. I was talking to a famous surgeon in Dubai, whom I met last year, and I complimented him. I told him that maybe when I was young, I wanted to become a doctor. I'm really thrilled to know and meet you because he's a famous doctor, cardiac surgeon, and to specialize in child. And he was telling in a very simple way, see, only we cut and stitch. God does the healing. Now that left me pondering, a tailor also cuts and stitches. A surgeon also cuts and stitches. What is the difference in the skill set? That's what we need to analyze. You may give the data, and using Excel, you can perform analysis. You may give the data analyst to me, and using my tools, I can perform a different types of analysis. You may give the same data to a data scientist. The data scientist will perform analysis in different way. But what is most important is, are you providing the relevant information? Are you providing the relevant insights? For that, a data analyst has to prepare. There's an interesting analogy I came across, which I thought I'll share with you. Just look at a professional. If you look at a watchman, he's got a whistle. He may not even have a lathi. A policeman has got a lathi. A sub-inspector has a gun. A soldier has got a rifle. But if you compare to all these guys, if you look at a commando, What does a commando have as a tool set? He may have a knife. First of all, he's trained. Maybe he can use his hands and body itself as a weapon of destruction. He can kill people with his bare hands because he's well trained. Second, he's got a knife. He may have a gun. He may have AK-47. He may have a grenade. He may have so many things. So, as a commando, he uses the required tools to accomplish the mission. As a data analyst, we need to ask, what are my tools? Am I a policeman with a lathi, or a watchman with a whistle, or an inspector with a gun, or am I a data analyst commando? What do you think is the best role? As a CA, especially most of you are partners or owners of the firm, I think it's important that you need to consider yourself as a data analyst commando. It's not necessary you should know all the technology, but you should know how to use the relevant technology as and when required. Because if you learn how to use specific tools and techniques, you can also train your staff to be able to use them. If you look at an actor prepares or data analyst prepares, I think Narasimhan also showed this. You need to first prepare the data for analysis. So there are some 11 checks for good data. For example, because we are dealing with structured data, we need to ensure the data is available in standard format. Most of the cases, people who have bought out software solutions, we find one of the problems they face is they're getting errors. And I find that, okay, the first row is blank, or the columns are repeated, the columns are blank, there are duplicate headings. And these are all the issues which we find that we can navigate through this in Excel. But if you want to do data analysis, I think these are the 11 checks for the good data which to ensure that you prepare the data in a proper format. So the most critical time you spend before you analyze the data is to prepare the data for evaluation, and that is what is called as curating the data. Now, this is another key point which I want to emphasize again. If you can't describe what you're doing as a process, you don't know what you're doing. Now, I want to ask you, my friends, now you're doing tax audit. Do you have standard process for doing the tax audit? And is it repeatable? If you give the checklist to your staff and the same checklist is given to other staff, can you ensure they get the same result? If you're doing GST audit and somebody is using Excel, another person using GST audit, he's also using Excel. Is there a standard methodology you follow? And that's what I said is most important. Is first establish the process, put a system in place, standardize that, then you can actually use the tools and technology. Most of the CEOs who buy software and ask me, okay, how it will help me to do the audit? I say, we are providing a solution not to train you in audit. We know that you already know the audit. What is important is tell me how you do the audit, then I can tell you what techniques or tools you can use for the purpose of doing the audit. So let's quickly look at a few concepts pertaining to data analysis. The most important thing is to prepare the criteria required for audit or the analysis steps. So let's look at any type of audit or compliance or assignment. We'll look at completeness of the data. Is the data complete in all aspects? It means there are no missing elements of data. Is the data accurate? Is the data valid? Which means properly, it is valid for the particular period. It's properly authorized. The segregation duty is implemented as required. It also presents all the information which is required. And there is a cutoff concept which is applicable. I'll show you when I show the demo how this particular audit test can be performed. So what you can look at is, depending on the audit criteria, whether you're performing a GST audit or a tax audit or an internal audit, you need to use this criteria under each of the specific areas. For example, fixed assets. So in fixed assets audit, what is that you're going to look at? You're applying completeness, which means what? All the assets which are being purchased during the year have been completely accounted. All the assets which have been bought have been recorded. All the assets which have been bought have been completely insured. All the assets which have been bought are completely available in the control of the enterprise. All the assets which have been bought are completely deployed in the enterprise to be able to applicable for depreciation. So just using the concepts, you can decide what are the type of tests you need to have. Similarly, if you look at accuracy, you can apply the same concept, let us say, for loans, or all the loans which have been sanctioned, have they been accurately documented? When you say accurate, it has been documented in the name of the person to whom it has been given. It has been applied, the rate of interest which has been applied is correct, and the processing of the data is complete. Now, when you generate a report, the result is coming correctly. So when you compute the NPA is computed accurately. Just take the simple concept accuracy, you can develop different types of tests. So what you need to ask is, if you are doing an audit, what is that you want to be assured of? Like they say, in God we trust, recipe audit. So what are the criteria you're going to use? This is what you should be clear about. Now let's look at some specific audit or analysis tests. Now we have something called reasonable test. What does reasonable test which means? For example, salaries paid to employees. Each category of employees has got a particular range. Is the salary within that particular reasonable range? If they bought a particular item, is the rate within the particular bandwidth which has been specified? Let's say we look at limit. You look at what are the top or last X customers. What are the rate at which they have been supplied? Now, considering the average type of sales, what is the type of sales which is happening? You can look at. Similarly, completeness. For example, the specific test you can use identify duplicates or gap. You can also look at the format of the data, the format of the date. Is it correct and complete? You know in Excel, if the date format is incomplete, all the analysis which you do goes for a task. You also can check for validation. I'll give you a demo how you can perform authorization. You can also look at periodicity, which means all the transactions which have come are within that particular accounting period. You can also bucket or analyze the data based on specific periods, aging or MIS. So these are the functions which you can use. Now, let's come to the most interesting part which I was talking to you, which is about walkthrough and demo of the software. Let me shift the screen. I'll go to the Excel software. I'm using a software called as CAAT. Okay. Now here, let me also open one presentation. I want to show you the presentation. Yeah, there's a presentation, and I'm going to jump between the presentation and the Excel sheet. Are you able to see this presentation? Narasimhan, are you able to see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Everything is fine.
Or should I share the screen? No,
It's good.
PPT, yeah.
The PPT also appearing.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Good. So I'm going to pick up some of the techniques. Demo of key functions of data analytics using ECAT. I'm used as a sample, the ECAT. You can use any software for that purpose. Maybe some of the functions, those who are Excel experts, you can perform in Excel also. We'll see what is it. We'll also see which functions you can perform in Excel, how well you can perform, how simple or easy it is to use data analytics compared to Excel. Now, I think Mehtaji was also talking about Excel being a Swiss knife. Now, it depends on our own perspective. I was telling, let's say if you have a knife, using a knife, can you cut a tree? Yes, you can cut a tree. Now, using a saw, can you cut a tree? Yes. Now, the question is, you should know what to use, which tool, and when to use the tool. Now, if I got a sword, can I use it to cut a tree? You can use it, but it depends on what is the time and effort you're going to spend. So, depending on the need, you should be able to use the right tools. If I got a screw to be removed or a screw to be fixed, I should know that I cannot use a hammer, I should use a screwdriver. Okay, so data analytics is generally a multi-dimensional set of tools. What are the three primary functions of data analytics software? First, it has enhanced power of use of Excel. So it means it can be a definite time saver. It can also give you business intelligence MIS reports on the fly. Yesterday, when I was showing various types of dashboards which you see. Now we'll see, I'll show you this also, and you can see what are the various types of dashboards which you can generate from here. You can also perform data analytics, very, very powerful data analytics in just a few simple clicks. For example, when I was talking about how to identify unique, he said for identify unique, you have to become an insider of Microsoft. No, you don't need to become an insider. Using data analytics, you can do this in a few clicks, in a few seconds. So there are more than 350 functions in the ECAT. Like that, each software has its own set of functions. Now, Narasimhan also talked about when you're using data analytics, this is some of the things you have to look at. Now, if you look at the software itself has been designed to follow the steps of a data analytics software. So you have curate, which means you purify the data, you bring the data to an acceptable standard of usage, you profile the data, which means macro level, you get an idea about the data. Third, you analyze the data, perform from various perspectives. For example, I can identify duplicate, identify uniques, identify changes. I can perform various types of sampling. I can do fuzzy match. I can do sort and filter. I can split sheet based on specific criteria. This is what the various types of analysis I can do. I can also do various types of investigative function, which is the next level. For example, I can perform MIS analysis. I can query the data. I can also have relating between joining two types of files and finding out the result, which we do in VLOOKUP. I can also ensure that whatever data, whatever process I'm doing, I'm also documenting this. And then also have tools, utilities and tools which I can use, and there's also help available. These are generally the panels of functions which are available. Narasimhan, you can, I think, mute my video so that we can focus on the presentation. Now
Yes,
let's have
sir.
a quick look at the brief description and demo of the key functions. Now first, I said you need to get the data in the required format. The first function we use is what is called as harmonize sheets. What does harmonize sheet mean? Harmonize sheet means, Narasimhan, you can mute my video. Yeah, thank you. You can reformat the column heading rows automatically as per the standard tabular format for the current or selected workbook or workbook for performing various functions. Okay, now let's see, jump to Excel and see how we can perform this. Okay, I've got this data. Now, if you see, this is the sample data which I'm using. This is also available in the software. There are some guidelines pertaining to how to use the software. Okay, before I get started, I just want to show now it's 11:45. I may go up to 12:45. Is that okay, Narasimhan?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. No problem.
So, yeah, so maybe we'll keep about 10-15 minutes in the end for questions. I'd like to spend more time
Sure.
here because this, I think, will give a lot of value addition. Okay.
Sure.
So
Sure.
we also have got frequently asked questions, but yeah. Then we have sample data for test related from various types of. Now I was telling you about curate. But if you see the curate, this is the curate panel. Okay, let me see if I can magnify this. Yes. Now if you see curate functions, and if you see remove, yesterday somebody was asking, can I remove trail spaces, multiple spaces, all the type of analysis you can do. Remove broken links also. Next. Now you got delete. Now if you look at delete, I can remove objects and images, top X rows, empty blank rows, empty, all this you can do in a simple click. Okay. Similarly, you can transform the data, extract visible cells. For example, I filtered the data. I want to extract only specific cells. I can directly copy, instead of copy and paste, I can directly make a copy of the cells which are visible. Okay, you can also segregate the cells based on the font style. Okay, you can fix the date. And now here, what I want to show you was the function called harmonize sheets. Now for that, let me pick up a sample data. This is the sheet data which is available. Now if you see here, I got an image here, I got a link here, I've got the data for top rows which are to remove. Now this data sheet is in a mess. Okay, now if you see here, a lot of data available. Now let me remove the freeze pane. Yeah. Yes. Now if you see, now we have a lot of data here, maybe about 2000 rows plus. Okay, now you also got blank rows. If you see here. Okay, now again you have got blank rows. Now if you see, if you apply the filter, now you know that you have to select the whole sheet and then you have to do the circles, otherwise you'll not be able to remove. Now here again you got blank rows. Okay, now we've got all this. Now I'd like to harmonize this data. Now let's see this where the power of the data analytics comes in. I go to transform. Okay, I just pick up the harmonize sheets. Now you got this, you're able to see this. Now you see, it says you can do for the worksheet or you can do for the complete workbook itself. Okay, what is that I want to enter? Now if you see here, there are 13 rows which I want to remove. I say remove top 13 rows. I give that. Okay, next, I got unmerge column heading, unmerge all data, like that. I got multiple things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say select basic options. By default, we know that when you're performing data analytics, these are the major things I want to do. Remove empty rows, remove images, remove blank rows, hang header, name blank column, all these things I do. And I have to just say yes. Now, if there are subtotals also, I can remove the subtotal other things and do it. I say okay. Now you see the magic, what happens with this. With one simple click, now see the data is transformed. Which means I got the data in a structured format in which I want. Now I want to see whether the blank sheets, this one is gone. Now you see, I come to the end, which means all the blank rows, everything is removed. And this is what is the power of the data analytics. Now this where we curate or purify the data. I just showed you one function, how to harmonize the data. Now let's come back again. Now let's look at profiling of the data. One of the first things I want to know is, I want to know what is the overall profile of the data. So this is where we perform a function called column statistics. Okay, what does this column statistics mean? I want to display the column statistics of numeric, date, or character related data. Okay, we can also, I'm also giving an example where this could be used. I want to show you with a simple thing how this cutoff concept is applied, how the completeness concept can be applied and inferred just by using a simple function. Let's come to our Excel. We have got this Excel. Now I'm coming to this one, statistics. I come to details, column statistics. I'm using the same data what I got here. Now here, by default, it tells me the three types of data here, numeric data and character. I'm going to pick up the profiling for the three types of data. Now it gives me various types of statistics. I can get number of negative record, number of null value record, like that. I've got complete set of the information. Okay, I'm going to say select all numeric statistics. Okay, and I say okay. And let's see what we can get from this. Now this should be able to perform. So here in this data analytics tools, now you see in a few seconds I got the data. For the amount, I got the average of positive records. There are no negative records. What is the average of all the records? Number of negative records, number of positive records, number of null value records, which means there are records which have got value is null. Number of zero value records, number of distinct records. So it means I get a complete profile. I also know the maximum value is this and the minimum value is 500. If there are any cells with inconsistent formula, which means he has given me a sheet and he's applied a formula, somewhere in between he's gone and changed the formula. That also you'll be able to analyze. Same thing applies for quantity and unit price. Now you see, in a few seconds, I got a complete profiling of the data. Now based on this, now I'm going to ask my audit staff to go and look at this null value records. Which are these records, which are null value records? I double click, I get the complete list. Now it tells me that these are all the POs which have been cancelled. Now I want to verify. I can ask my staff to save this file, okay, and ask them to verify the documentation pertaining to this. Okay, so it means it's already copied the data. Now let me come back again here. Now I would like to do the statistics again for, let's say, the date related field. Now I'm going to pick up the date. By default, it says there is only one date related field. I'm going to select all the date related fields. Now see the power. What are the type of functions which are available in just one screen? And I have to just say, okay. Now tell me if you used Excel. Now is using data analytics software difficult? Now same thing, if you want to find out the data as per month wise, I want to find out the data as per the, can I get this? See, we already got the result. What do I get here? Now let me see if I can apply the magnifier. Yes, now if you see here, it gives me the total number of records, number of null value records. Now I was talking about the cutoff concept. Now based on the data, it has told me the earliest date is 1st April, the latest date is 2016. Now it also tells me month wise, it gives me the complete set of records. It also gives me day wise what are the sales which happened. Now interestingly, I find that even Sunday they are making the sales. Now it also tells me that number of sales with inconsistent record is nil. Okay, this is what is the power of profiling of the data. Like you remember, I said that data analyst prepares. Using this type of a data, I can prepare and profile and decide what are the specific areas I want to focus on during the audit process. Next, let's go to the classify. This is similar to the pivot table function, which most of you use. I'll show you how different it is from the pivot table. Let's understand what this classify function means. It groups each distinct value in a character column and displays sum and count of a corresponding numeric column. For example, if I got the sales data, I can summarize the sales data as per name of the customer, or I can summarize the data as per the product code. If I got the purchases and I want to find out what the purchases as per the specific rate, I can group them as per the specific rate or as per the product category and find out are there any exceptions, which means once I group it, I know for the same product code, have you paid GST at a different rate? Okay, now let's go to the demo. I'm going to use the same sheet. What is that I want to do? I want to do classify. Now I come to data, I come to classify. Now what do? I want to classify, let's say based on the material code, which means based on the material code. Narasimhan, can you unmute my video? Mute my video. Yeah, thank you. So I want the material code, and what is the total I want? I can get the total for the quantity. I just want to hear unit price. Unit price, it's meaningless to total. I pick up the amount. Okay. I can also get the percentage for this. I'm not going to select the percentage. Now I've got the material code. I can also group by, which means I can group this based on the vendor code, which means it will give me the details for each material code for each of the suppliers, what are the rate and what are the purchases I have made. Okay, now like what you do in pivot table, we can do the same thing here, but let's see what is the difference here. Now you see, I got the result here at one shot. What do you see here? Now if you see, Classify on material code, it tells me what is the count, what is the percent of material count, and it gives me the sum. Now let's look at some more magic which you can do. Now I just want to sort it and see who is the customer from whom we bought the max, for which material has been bought maximum. Now I know this is the product DB1657 which has been bought the maximum number of times. I want to similarly sort it based on the value. I think there is some issue here. Oh, I think there is no problem because the decimal value is looking like this. Okay, this is based on the lowest value and the highest value. I can get the information. Similarly, I want to look at based on the count. Which product have you bought the maximum number of times? Which product the least number of times? I give this information. Not only that, I also want to find out which item, let's say based on the count, which item has been bought more than, let's say, 80 times. It will filter and give me the information at one shot. So these are all the items which have been bought 80. Now let me say 85. Now I'm going to do this again. Yeah. So I want to pick up 85. Now you see I got this filter. Now I want this information. I want to do analysis based on this. I can pick up this data and do the analysis. Okay. Now this is about the classify. Now let's look at stratify, which means I got the data. I want to stratify based on the bands, based on the value. Okay, what is this concept all about? Now remember, this can be done in Excel also. Anything can be done in Excel. You ask any Excel guru, any software programs are developed to such an extent. Now you can do that particular analysis using the software. The only question is, I just remember the analogy. If you want to cut a tree, are you going to use a knife or a sword, or are you going to use a saw? That's what you need to look at. So depending on the objective, use the right tool. That's what is most important. Now, what does the stratified numeric do? Groups numeric data into different strata based on specific intervals and displays the count and sum with percentage for each of the strata. I've also said what are the assertions, accuracy, and completeness is what you can check. Let's go back to the same. I'm just sticking to the same sample data. Now here, what do I want to do? I want to do stratify. Just go to stratify. There are various types of stratify. I'm just going to pick up numeric. Now, if you see here, look and feel is very similar. What is the field I want to stratify? Amount by default is already picked up the numeric field. Field to total is also amount. I can also do based on the quantity. Unit price doesn't, it's not meaningful. Okay. Now, next, it also tells me what is the minimum and what is the highest, and given me band. Okay, this amount for the timing, I'll use it as it is. I can also group it and say I want to do it based on the product wise or based on the vendor wise. I can also put a condition. I want to do the stratify for all values where the purchase rate is more than 5,000 rupees. Okay, this is where I can give the condition. Okay, for the purpose of simplicity and doing it faster, I'm not selecting all the options. Now it's a fill, by default it's picked up everything. Now just imagine if you have to do in Excel, you have to go and create the band for each of them and then apply the value. And next, most important, I click OK. Now let the software do its work and it'll show you the result. Now if you see here, it has come to the result. What does it show me? The stratify. Okay, yes. Now if you see blanks, now immediately I get to know that 13 blanks, remember we had, it shows me the blank, it shows what is the value between 500 to this one, next again 296, 859 to this one. Like that, it gives me this one. Not only that, it gives me the count. Now, for example, I want to sort this. I just click, I get to know which is now this is strata. For example, I would like to do investigation. I double click and I can go to the details. Okay, this is how simple it is to do the stratification. Same thing I want to do stratified random sampling. When you come to the same function through the sampling option, this sampling tab would be enabled. When you click on the sampling tab, it will open a column where you can enter the number of samples and automatically you can select the sampling. Okay, now let's go to the next one. Summarize quick. Now we did if you remember for the character related data, we have done it for the date related data. Now let's look at what is summarize mean. Now, in the case of pivot table, it really doesn't matter whether the data is date, character, or this one. We can do it in one way. So, summarize the total the data in the selected numeric column based on for each distinct value and displays the corresponding count and the sum. Okay, for example, you would like to do a sales analysis and pick up for each value of sales what is the count and what is the value. Let's come to the same table. Now, I come back to the data. Now I have to come to ECAT. Now when you click on ECAT, ECAT is an add-in to Excel. So all these functions, about 350 plus functions are available here. Now here I said data. I want to go to summarize. Summarize also there's available something called quick and key field. I'm just showing you quick. Now this is what I got. You see here. What is that I want to do? I want to summarize based on, I can do on the quantity also. I can do based on the amount. Okay, I'm going to select the amount and here accumulate the amount. Okay, I just selected for simple example. I could have selected the quantity also and I've got quantity here, or it could be quantity there and amount here. Okay, and I also want the result in descending form. And I can also group it, which means I can decide grouping based on the vendor code or the material code. Okay, here I'm not looking at the material code for the timing. I'm just doing without the material code. Now, if you see here, for each unique value of sales, it summarizes and tells me the count and the sum. It also gives me the percentage. Here now I want to know which value we sold maximum. You find this 296,4090 we have sold once. Okay, now if you see here 2,400, 13 times happened, 700, 13 times happened. So it means if you're doing invoicing, now you want to find out some exceptions, you'll be able to find out the patterns. Which value of sale somebody is trying to enter, or which value of sales has been, sale value has been repeated multiple times. Now, same thing, if you group it as per customer, for each customer, you can also see the pattern of purchases or the pattern of sales for each of the customers. So you should remember, data analytics gives you insights from data. It doesn't give you insights, it gives you information. What you infer from the data is insights. Now let's come back again. We saw summarize quick. Let's go to the next one, which is aging of the data. Okay. Now for aging, I need to have some data which is clear, which means groups and totals all the records that are within or beyond the aging date based on the specific intervals. For example, I have got the stock, I have got the purchase date. Now I want to find out the aging of the data based on the pattern of the stock. Now I've got one data called as the aging analysis file. Maybe probably I'll use that and I'll show you this. Where is in my aging analysis file? Another important interesting thing which you find in this case called as the index sheet. Now it creates an index sheet. Based on that index sheet, I can navigate to the specific sheet. Now this is what I got. For each of this one, I have got the purchase date with the amount. Now I want to perform. Now let's look at the item. The stock ranges from 2016 to 2017. Now I want to perform aging. Now I come to data. Let's see where this function is. Data. Here we got aging. Can I perform Excel aging in Excel? Yes, you can perform aging in Excel also. What you have to do, you have to compute on a particular date, minus it by the particular this one, purchase date, compute this one, and then again do the circus to be able to get that. Okay. Now by default, it found out the minimum date is 2014 and the maximum is 2017. It has got the complete details and it's given the interval of 30. Let's say I want to give the interval of 60. Okay, and I say fill. Okay, and then I say I can get the summary, I can also get the details, which means details means it gives product wise. Let's go to the summary. So in a few seconds, I've already got the band of data. So between 0 to 60, 5 items are there, 7,70,300. Between 60 to 120, I got this data. Now, if I see here, magic. Now, if you see here, upper bound more than 1,000, there are 3 items, and this is the value of the items. Now, if I want to see what are these items, I double click. It takes me to the particular items and tells me what the data purchased. Now we know based on this, I can also see whether these are actually obsolete items or these are items which are not available. These are just being shown. So in data analytics, I get the raw data from the source software or export it to Excel and use this Excel data to perform the analysis. Similarly, I'm interested in which are these items, or let's say look at the count. 120 to 180, there are 18 items, okay, or 180 to 240, there are 1 item. I can perform this analysis further and redo this again depending on my specific requirements. Now, I just want to demonstrate how simple and easy it is to use this data analytics function. So, get the concept, then you can apply using whatever tool you want. Now, let's look at MIS. What does MIS show? MIS shows for the date related field summation of values. Okay, now let me come to this function. Now what I would like to do is, let me come back again. Which is the function I want to use? Let's say MIS, I want to use the sales transactions. Yes, I've got the sales transactions. Now if you look at the sales transaction data, I got about 666666 number of rows. Okay. Now what is the MIS? Where is this MIS available? Analysis. MIS. Now tell me, in Excel, can I perform this? I got the sales. We can do in Excel also. How is that? How easy it is? Let's look at it. Now this gives me at one shot, it gives me all these options. Okay. I want to know what is the sales made for each day of the year. Okay. And I click OK. This should be able to give me for each day what are the number of sales which has happened. Okay. Now this is where business intelligence or analysis or inference comes into picture. Now it tells me on these days the transactions are only one. Now you can go and check out why these transactions are only one. Now if you say equal to one, it will filter and pick up only one. Or I want to say what are the days on which only 5 transactions have happened. Okay, I'll be able to get this data. So it means I can filter and pick this information. I want to pick up based on what they have done any window dressing. Okay, so what I want to know is I want to group this data, sort this data based on value. This is the day on which the low sales has happened. Again, single click, I'll be able to get the based on the total value. For example, 15.5, the total 25 or 28,59,100. On 6.9, you find it. So in this case, I can go further and analyze what is the pattern here. It looks like on some particular date, the number of transactions are quite high. Now I can go and pick up this data and extract it. Not only that, I have a beautiful function called extract. When I click on extract, now you see it has given me the particular data. This, if you see, if you have to do this in pivot table, you have to go individually and pick up each of this data. Now here we got extract. I can go and say, I want this result, I want this result, I want this data. It actually runs a query, picks up all the transactions of this particular date. I say extract. In a few seconds, I'll be able to get happened here and gives you the message that job is done. Not only that, it would have actually copied the data. See 15,569, all the data whatever we had. Now see from 6, there are 148 transactions which are of this particular meeting this particular condition. This is about the MIS. Now MIS, let me show you one more interesting thing. Yes, now let's come to MIS. Now let me come back to sales transactions. Let's see. I'm coming back to MIS. Are you with me so far? I hope you're able to follow me and you're getting the concept clear. Yes, I think Nasim has also clearly mentioned it's important that you should view this in full view mode. Wherever possible, I'm trying to show in this one, zooming it. I got sales, MIS. I want to know based on day of, now let me go day of the week. Okay. And let me see the result. What do I expect to see? I get for each day of this week, what are the total count and what are the total sales which has happened. Now you see this, on what day the sales is the highest, on what day the sales is the, now what is this Wednesday? Okay, so Wednesday the sales seems to be the lowest. Thursday, Guruvara Vantamma, there also the sales seems to be the lowest, lesser. So you can see the pattern. Now they are working 7 days of the week, based on this you can find out. If that company is not supposed to work on a Sunday, you'll be able to pick up all the exceptional transactions which happened on a Sunday. Okay, same way. Now, if I'm doing a GST audit, I'll just show you one last function in this. I got this. Now you should tell me what I should do. I go and select the sales because here I got only sales. I got this. If I had picked up the procurement and there are multiple value fields, it would have shown me everything. Now, can I do the invoice number? What is the use of doing based on the invoice number? There's no meaning. So it's important that you should select the right fields. Now here, I want to know month, which means I want to know month-wise sales. Now I want to do it based on the GST rate. Let's say this had the GST rate also. I can go and group based on the GST rate. Okay, based on that I can get the result. Here I got this. MIS, what did I select? I selected monthly. So what do I expect to get? I expect to get sales monthly. So if I'm doing a GST audit, I can go and compare with the sales, which means from the raw data, I got what are the sales. Now, if I've grouped it based on the GST rate, for each type of a GST rate, I would have got this information. And I can do the analysis. I can also see on which month the sales is the highest, on which month the sales is the lowest, and I can see the pattern. I want to see the chart of this. I think I can click on this. I should be able to see the chart. Okay, this is a simple chart. Now, the beauty in this case is once I got the data, I can get into Excel and prepare any type of chart which I want. So it enhances the power of Excel. We got MIS. Let's come to outliers. This is another interesting thing, which means what I want to find out is what are the exceptions or irregularities which are there. Let's understand what is an outlier. It displays a record that exceeds X number of times average or standard deviation. Now, in this case, this is where your domain expertise comes from the business. Now, in this company, probably the average sales rate maybe let's say 3 times or 5 times. You can define that parameter. Based on that, I can get the outlier. Now, let's see. I go here. Now, I got the same sales data. I want to perform the outliers. outliers. I can also do by mass, by bounds. Okay, I'm not getting into this. I just want to pick up based on the numbers. Okay, what do I select? Field for outlier. I want to select the sales. I can also group it by, let's say, the name. So it means based on the customer wise, I can know within the customer what is the outliers. Okay, now I'm going to select, let's say, 3 times the average. Okay, this is done. I can get based on the details or based on the summary, which means details means for all the transactions put together, it will compute the outliers, or it will summarize, and based on the summary, it will generate the information. Let's see what is the outlier and what is the result we get. Now here, if you see, what do I get? For each of the days, it tells me for what is the sales, what is the average sales, and what is the difference. Okay. Now, where the difference higher, which means the number of variance based on the day of the sales, I get this information. What is the number of times the sale is different? This is 3 times. Let's see. Now, this is where, now these are the areas of concern. Now, on 20th March, the variance is 12 times. Okay, which means it's 2,26,500 and the lowest could be the other amount. So you can go and check each of these areas. So it means at one glance, I'm able to find out what are the outliers. Now I want to pick up only items where it's greater than 3. Okay, this is all greater than 3 only. Let's say I want to pick up greater than 5. It gives me that information. Okay, this is how I can pick up the outliers. Now tell me, can I do this in Excel? Yes, you can do it in Excel. First, you have to compute the average. Then based on that, you apply the formula. Maybe you can write a macro and then automate the macro and use it every time. Okay. So I'm just giving the concept so that you can start applying this concept. So in data analytics, the most important thing is to ensure that the data is correct and complete, valid and authorized, and it provides proper presentation disclosure, and it belongs to the correct period. And ultimately, I should be able to identify any exception irregularities and find out whether they impact the materiality or impact the financial disclosure. Now, using this type of tools, it gives me at one shot, it gives me a complete perspective into the data. It gives me insight into the data, regardless of what is the value. Now, identify duplicate is a very simple function. So it means I can find out duplicates. Let me show you quickly. I'm going to run this quickly. There is a recording available. You can also see this. Now I just go here, identify duplicates. Now identify duplicates. You remember yesterday Unix, I'll come to Unix also. Identify duplicates. How do I identify duplicates? I just want to identify duplicate based on the invoice number. That's all. I can find identify duplicates based on the details and the summary. I'll just do you. You know that in this one we also have the based on the number. I'm going to do based on the summary, which means it tells me for each type. Now, for example, there are 3 invoices which are blanks. 1034 has come 2 times. 1454 has come 2 times. Now, I want to see the details. What do you do? Double click, you can get the details. This is how you can identify the duplicates. Now, let's come to the next function. Identify uniques. Okay, how simple it is. What is unique? Which means I remove the items which are come multiple times. I want only items which are unique, which means they are not repeated. They come only once. Here, which means now I want to find out which is duplicates. Now, for example, let's come back again here. Identify. If you see here, identify duplicates. I got identify unique. I can also do what is called as remove duplicates, which means I want one instance of everything. I can remove duplicates. I'll be able to get all the information. It removes the duplicate and gives me unique plus also one from the duplicates. Okay, if I got a customer sales, I want to find out the list of customers. I can use this. Based on that, I can get the complete list of customers. So what do I want to do? I want to identify uniques, which means I want to find out which are the customers who was bought only once. Okay, this is interesting. Which are the customers who bought only once? That's what I want to find out. I'll say okay. Now it tells me these are the guys who bought only once, which means others have bought multiple times. Now I find this Amir has got 2,26,500 and is bought only once. Then I can go and investigate why this guy has bought only once. And there's one more guy we have sold, but the invoice number itself is missing. Now this is how we can infer insight from the data. Identify format. What is the format? I have got this particular GST number or PAN number or anything for that matter. It's supposed to have a unique format, whether it's following that unique format. Now for that, I have to use the PAN number file. Let me see where is the PAN file. Where is my PAN and TAN? I can pick up any of them. I got this PAN number. Okay, now what do I do? Simple. I have to just go and identify the format. I just go here, identify the format. Okay, I've selected the pan, show me the field length. I can also identify the exceptions. Okay, let's see what happens in this case. Now, if you see, it has identified the field length for each of these items, and it tells me, okay, what is the field length. So it means now, let's say assuming pan number, I'm not sure about this, pardon my ignorance. So these are the case where only 9 numbers are there. Now these are case, I'm not sure how many numbers should be the pan numbers. Okay, now 11. Okay, and these are the guys. So it means based on this, you can find out where the errors are. Same thing can be applied, let's say, for the tan also. If I got the tan, I want to go and identify the format. It can be, let's say, employee number, bank ID, anything for that matter. It's supposed to have a particular pattern. You can go and select that. It's very simple. See, by default, it's selected the tan. I just ask him to show the field length. Okay, now it gives me the field length. Based on that, I can go and pick up the exceptions. So it means you can see there may be 10,000 transactions, 50,000 transactions. I'm going to identify the exceptions, data which is not falling within the format, and one shot. Okay, now we got this character gaps. What is character gaps? If I got a data which is alphanumeric, it ignores the character and finds out the difference based on the removing the given character gaps. Let's see what is the file we have to use. I'm going to use the account trans file. Where is my account trans file? Yes, we got the account trans file. Yes, this is what I got. Now here I got the transaction number. Okay, this transaction number follows a particular sequence. Let's now go and apply the function identify gaps, character gaps. Now what is that I want to do? I want to do based on the transaction number. It's very important that you know what the field you're going to select. By default, it is found out the field mask. This is how it is. Okay, then I say show me the result. I see it has found out the difference. These are the places where there is a gap. And now let's check this from 12 to 12, 24 and 41. Now let's go here. If you check here, see 12 is missing here. Okay, like the 24 is missing. So like the 40, remember 41 is missing. So this is how I can find out the character gap. For example, bank has got a particular number pattern. They have first few characters and after that have numeric. Based on that I can define. I'll be able to find out the gaps. Okay, identify changes. Identify changes. Now, for example, I got the salary for the month of, let's say, November and December. I want to find out what is the difference between each of this. I'm sure you cannot do this in Excel. Let us come to this. I have to come to the cell, which is salary of November, December. Employees number, yes. I've got employees number. Now I got employees December. Okay, now if you see here, there are 25, which means 24 rows. And in November, I got 24 rows. So it looks similar. Now, what I want to do is, I want to find out the changes, which means I come to changes, identify changes. Now, see the type of options which are available. Now, you see here, I picked up CAAT sample data employee number. Now, I have to go and select the second file, which is the employee December. Yes, I've selected employee December. Now, I got this. See, this is what I've got. Now, identify, there are different options. Identify cells that have changed, identify cells that have not changed. I'm going to select the two options and what is the color I want. Okay, identify cells that have not changed. Right, by default selected. Display comment to cells that have changed, that I can also do. I can also extract the list of changes. Okay, I'm just saying okay. Now you see it found out what are the changes, which are the cells which are not changed, which are the cells which have changed. Okay, let's go quickly. Let's see, I may not be able to cover everything. Let's see, duplicate in same row. This is a very simple function. I think I can do it in Excel also. What is duplicate in the same row? Which means now there is a user ID and there is an authorizer ID. Now both of them are same persons. I want to find out whether the same transaction is authorized, is entered and authorized by the same person. Okay, let's see which file do I use for this. I think I can use the procurement file. Yes. Now where is my procurement file? Yes, there is a procurement file. Now here I got the, let's see what the, now most important is you need to know what is the data dictionary, which means what are the fields in the data. I got user ID here. Is there authorized ID here? User ID. No, I don't have authorized ID. Let me come back and check which is the file. Procurement file. Okay, it should be here then. Vendor name, unit price, pay trans, user ID. I think it seems to have removed. We had one more thing called as authorized ID. Okay, for the time, let me just pick up this way. I'm just going to modify this, copy this fellow, paste it here for the purpose of demo. Now insert copy itself. What did I do? Okay, let me just be careful. Yes, insert copy itself. Yes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, oh, no, most of them are going to be common. Okay. No, I think we'll leave it this way. So what we can do is, for example, let's say I've changed this. No, I can just go and change. I'll just show you how it works. I will not show the result. I just wanted to get the concept. Where did we have? There's one more duplicates in same row. Here it will show everything because I just copied the cell. If they're different, I'll be able to pick up this one. What is that I have to pick up? I have to pick up the user ID. Now here the cell number also I have to give. So this is very important. I should give a different, for example, this could be authorized ID. Once I do this, it will be able to tell me which are the places where the same user, the same value is there in both the cells. Okay, now let's come back. Okay, duplicate same row, you see. Same different. This is interesting. What is same different? Most of this I'm telling you are audit concepts or tests which we need to implement. So what does it do? Match values of each column of all rows to identify records where the same value from the two selected columns are different. Same, but value of the third column is different. For example, I got the suppliers whose name and PAN is same, but the address is different. Okay, which is the one I'm going to use? I'm going to use the procurement file. Okay, I've already got the procurement file. What is that I want to do? I want to identify same different. In identify, duplicate same different. I can apply for multiple things. For example, let's say I got the employee ID, employee name, address is different, or employee name and address, but his bank account is different, or supplier name, I've got the supplier name and I got the supplier address, but his bank account is different. Like that, I can find out different things. GSTN name and GSTN address, but his GST number, this one, for the bank account is different. Like that, I can pick up different permutation combinations. Here, what is that I want to find? Same. Let's say I want to find the material code. If it's the material code, same. And what is different? No, let's pick up the vendor code. So it means I have got the vendor code, which is same. I can do for multiple fields at one shot. The vendor name is different. Okay, you got the concept? Which means same vendor code has got two different names. Let's see, there are about 2000 plus. See, it has one shot, it is picked up this one. I got the vendor name 350. So these are all the things which I've got, which are duplicates. Okay, I can also go and find out the, which are, see here I got, if you see far group, here 350. Let's see if we can sort it based on the numbers. Now here 366, I'll also see there will be some, which means it has copied everything and given. I'll also find there are some things which are duplicated. Okay, all right, now let's come back here again. Okay, fuzzy match arrange, I think it's very simple. So very simple, but you can't do this in Excel. Okay, display similarity in two rows based on values by eliminating transposition within the cell. Okay, find duplicate transactions which have been entered in different ways by changing order of the words. Let me go to the account trans file. Where is my account trans file? I got this account trans file. Yes, account trans file. Now here, if you see, I've written this narration. I think Narsiman also showed this example. Now, what do I want to find? I want to do fuzzy match. There are 4 things. I'm just doing a simple one. Arrange. The same thing I've written. So I'm going to select the transaction. What is the transaction description? Okay. Now, what is that value? Split value. I want to say space. That's all. I can also say find duplicate. It tell me which are the duplicates. I'll say okay. See, by default, you go and find out. Okay, for example, if you see here the result. Okay. Now, if you see here, now this is the what has been arranged. Now, this is what is the duplicate. So here, same transaction number with the same thing, narration has been written differently. So I can find out these are things which are duplicate. Now, same printer number you find it has got check number so many times been issued. So this is how I can do a fuzzy range, a fuzzy match and do it. For example, supplier name has come with different name. For example, my name, let's say Abdul Rafiq. So again, it's Rafiq Abdul or Rafiq A. All these type of things I can pick up at one shot. Okay, stratified random, I already explained to you. I'm not going to show. What you can do is you first stratify this data and then based on that you can pick up the sample based on different bands of data. Sampling classified. Now there are actually 34 types of sampling. Now I'll just show you a quick this one. We already done classified. If you remember classify we did. Okay, I'm just going to show you this example. Now if I have got this, let me come back to classify. I'll pick up the, let's say, I'll pick up the sales trans file. What is that I want to do? I want to do sampling. Now if you see sampling, now look at the menus. Selection, I've got these three simple things: intervals, number, and total count. By criteria, by analysis, I can do numeric, character, outliers, which means I can do the outliers. Based on the outliers, I can pick up the sample. Based on statistics, I can pick up. Based on exceptions, I can pick up. I can search and pick a sample. I can query list of values. Based on duplicates, I can pick up, which means I can perform various types of analysis. From the analysis, I can pick up the sample data. Now, I was thinking of doing based on the classified here. Okay, based on MIS, I can do sampling. All the analytical functions which are there, you can do sampling based on this. What is sampling all about? You want to do intelligent sampling. Okay, which means now I've got the sales, same thing. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the, I am not doing any grouping. So I just picked up the name, I want the total sales. Now see, we did classify last time, you remember? Now here, sampling is enabled. When I click on sampling, I click on this and I say in this case, let's say I go and say I want it based on the value. Now I got this. Let's say I want to pick up 3 here. I want to pick up 4, or I can say sample percentage. I can give the sample percentage. Based on that, I pick up this information. I can say 5 and I say extract. Based on the band which are selected, you should be able to select the data from that particular pattern and give me the 10 samples. See, now you got this. This is how simple it is to do the sampling. So there are actually about 34 types of sampling which are available. Okay, let me close this guy. Okay. Now, relative size factor, I think Narasimhan also talked about this one. What is the relative size factor? It's also there in Excel also. Sorry, in Tally also. I'll just show you one of them. There's one more thing, maximum variance factor. Okay, now difference between maximum variance factor, relative sizes. Relative size factor is the highest and the lowest. Highest and maximum variance factor is the highest and the lowest. Relative size factor is the first highest and the second highest. Okay. Now I'll just show you, I think maybe 2 or 3 functions, then we'll go further. What we want to do was, here I want to find, so for that I think I need to pick up the right file. I'm going to pick up this data procurement. What I would like to do is, where is my relative size factor? Here. This is very simple. You need to know how to select the right data. What do I want to apply this one on? I want to apply based on the select RSS field, which is the unit price. Now, based on the material code. Yes. Now, what is the numeric field I want to do? Based on the unit price. Simple. Which means for each material code, I want to do the RSS based on the unit price. Now, I can do high and I can do low. In fact, this idea of low was given by Venu. When I was discussing, he said, oh, I can do from the highest. Now, let it do from the bottom also. Then we added another function called as low. Okay. Now, we see the power of the data analytics software. Here, at one click, in a few seconds, I have got to know which are the items which are exceptions. Now, if you see here, this item, 40 rupees, lowest, this one is 5 rupees, which means the variation of 8 times. This particular item, you find, first you 5,000 rupees, second is 2,984, the variance 1.6, which means it gives me the complete variance for each of these values. Which means at one shot, I'm able to pick up this information, which means I've done a complete digital analysis of all these 2,000 items which have been purchased and picked up the exceptions in a few seconds. Now, there are 2,000 items, there will be 20,000 items. In fact, we've done analysis for one e-commerce company where they had 9 lakh items and about 35,000 items, and we're able to do in a few minutes. Okay, maximum variance factor similar, I'm not showing. Join file is similar to the VLOOKUP function where you can join 2 files and show. Okay, I'll do the authentication check. What is authentication check? So I want to find whether the authorization has been completely and correctly performed. Not completely, correctly performed. Okay, let me show the example. Now here, let me pick up the right file. Yes, I have got the sales file and I've got the sales authorization limit. Now we have kept this file in such a way so that you can also use sample data and use it for learning. Okay, I've got the sales. After sales, I've also got on sales authorization limit. Let me push this guy here. Okay, now I got the sales. Now let's see in the sales transaction file, what do I have? I have all the user IDs. Okay, name user ID is there, And in the sales authorization limit, I have the limit. Now, what I want to do is I want to check whether all the transactions which have been entered, there are about 66, which means 6,666 transactions are there, and there are how many users? There are about 10 users. I want to do a segregation of duties or authorization of the sales, whether all the transactions have been done, authorized by the user based within the authorization limit. Okay, so what do I do? Here we have something called a ready-made template. So sale, I got the authentication check. Do you want to perform in background? Click yes to perform normal. I say I want to perform normal. Some of the functions which take long time, we do not want Excel to wait. So we have provided the option where it will be provided done in the background. You can continue to work in Excel. Suppose you got one file which is 50,000 records. It may take 5 minutes to perform. Because ultimately you should remember that in this case, we are not depending on Excel. We have our own database. For example, in this case, Access the backend. All the query, everything is run in the Access backend engine, and you get the result and displayed in the software. Now here, I'm going to select the sales authorization limit file. Yes, it's selected. I've got this. Now, what I want to do is I want to match the user ID is equal to user ID. Okay, that is done. What is the next thing I want to do? I got the sales limit. What is the check I want to perform? I want to check whether the sales is greater than the limit. This will give me at one shot all the transactions which are authorized by the users beyond their given limit. Okay, now let's see what is the magic and how I can do this. This is where the power of data comes in. In a few seconds, you should be able to get the complete, which means you have done 100% authentication check of all the transactions and found out there are 21 exceptions. Okay, which means now this person, if you see RA, his limit is 20,000. He has done transactions 1,20,000. Now you want to find out how many transactions have been done by RA. Now you find totally 4 transactions are there. You want to find out how many are done by SA. You find there are how many? This guy seems to have done 10 transactions. Okay, his limit is 10,000, and whereas if you look at this one, he has also authorized transaction 1,04,000. Now this is where you can save this in Excel and ask your staff to go and do a detailed verification to why this happened and why this compliance was violated. Okay. Now compare files. This I think is the last function, and a few other things. Let me quickly walk through that. You can also split sheet by group. This is very simple. Which means what the data I've got. For example, I showed you the sales data. I want to split this based on the data entered by this by the user, or I got the sales, and based on the GST, I want to split into groups. GST at 12%, GST at 80%, like that. I can split the data. It will actually copy the data into separate sheets in one shot. Okay, you can also do Pareto analysis, which is that 80-20 rule. Okay, you can also do ABC analysis, or you can also do quadrant analysis. Quadrant analysis, high, medium, high, low, like that. You can do the quadrant analysis. You can also apply the Benford law. I'll show you the Benford law also. So the 2 things I'm going to show before you go. Let's come back here. Now, what is that I want to show you? I wanted to show you, let's pick up this information. Let's say I want to pick up the Pareto analysis. I want to show the compare files. Yes, anyway, let me finish this. So Pareto analysis, I want to pick up the sales. No, I can go and I can also perform Pareto analysis based on the name and then based on the sale value. It means within each of the customers, I want to find, okay, which are the value which is 80% or 20% like that, or I can remove this and do it. Anyway, let me finish this. I can do a summary. Now, this in fact idea for this was given by Mehtaji. When you're discussing, he's an expert in Excel. So he called me once and said, Rafiq ji, ho sakta hai Pareto analysis. I said, kyun nahi ho sakta? Then you worked on the logic and based on that we added. You got this 80% and then you got 20%. Similarly, ABC analysis also I think was an idea given by Mehtaji. So Mehtaji has contributed a lot of ideas. He asks questions and then we find answers. Okay, now I want to show you the compare files. Let me come to the compare files. Then I'll go to one more software. This I've shown you exactly the data available in Excel. Now I'm going to pick up what is called as invoice 2016. Okay, now I want to do what is called as analysis, compare files. Comparative analysis. There are so many types of comparison I can do. I'm going to do comparison based on the file. For example, I want to do comparison of the opening balances based on the ledger names between the opening balance and the closing balance. I can use this function to do it. I got invoice 2017, which is here. Okay, now what is that I want to compare? First, let's get the criteria right. I want to find out the performance based on the customer number. I got the customer number. I want to find out what are the sales which has been made for each of the customer number. I'm going to select the amount. Okay, this is what. So it means at one shot, I should be able to total the invoices for 2016 as per the customer number and give me the comparison and the difference also. Now tell me in Excel, can I do this? Our friends will answer yes, in Excel anything can be done. Now the question is, how much time will it take for you to do this? And are we able to do it much faster here? I think the result has come. Yeah, I think it has gone to this. Yes. Now if you see here, I got the result here. What that it tells me? For customer number 10,000, last year we sold 3, this time we sold 5, the difference is 2. Okay, like that it gives me comparative analysis for each of this. It also now, I want to find out which of the customers where the major difference is there. So I found this customer, okay, between 2016 and 2017, there is a significant change. So it depends on how you are computing this. Now I want to find out, let's say I apply 0 here. So what does it show? These are the customers who bought last year who did not buy this year. Similarly, if I apply 0 here, what does it show? It tells me that these are customers who didn't buy last year, but they were added current year. Now just see the type of analysis you can perform using this. Okay, the type of MIS and value addition you can provide to your client. Okay, this is about ECAT. Now let's summarize. I think we have gone through the whole thing. Yeah, I want to show the last one, which is the Benford law. Let's complete this, then I think we'll move forward to the next one. Benford law. For the Benford law, let us pick up the file which has got maximum number of transactions, which is the sales transactions. Now look at Benford law and let's look at how we can do it. This should be available in analysis. Benford law. 1 minute. Let's see. So I don't remember where I've kept it. Let's see. It should be in statistics. Yes, we moved it to statistics. Yes, Benford law. Now you don't know Benford law. Just select. Simple thing is, I think Narasimhan also explained. Now there's no meaning in doing for the invoice number. I do based on, for Benford law, the value should be random and it should be numeric. Okay, it should not be controlled, which means I give check number in one series, invoice number one series, that I cannot do Benford law. Okay, by default, assume, let's look at the result and see what I get. Generate. So in a few seconds, I get the result. What it does is, it computes the sales as per the first digit. And for the first digit, what is the number of sales? Generally, I would have assumed, based on the average, that it should be 1. Let's see if I can magnify this. No. Okay. Now here, if you see, I've got 1. Generally, as per the Benford law, it will be 30.1%. Here it is actually 13.4%. As for the second digit sales value starting with 17 points, it should be actually 17.6, but actually it's 15%. So this is how I can compute. In what way can I use the Benford law? I can use it for a pattern analysis. If somebody has done a fraud, he's entered a lot of transactions, let's say 9,595. So you see, starting with 9, it should be only 4.6%. Here it's actually 1.3%. If somebody has created a lot of transactions within the limit, then you find the as per the Benford law, that value would have gone up. Then you can do double click and find out what are the transactions which happened and do further analysis. You can also use it for pattern analysis, which is you compute the Benford law for 1 year, do the Benford law for the next year, and do a comparison and find out the pattern, whether things have changed compared to the last year. Now, this is as far as our ECAT is concerned. So I've given you a quick overview of what are the functions which are available. Now, this gives you a list of all the functions which are available. Now, if you see, now just look at the functions. I've just sort this one selected based on the functions. Okay, now I just picked up the F. So what are the number of functions I have? 374 functions are available. So for example, in curate, how many functions are there in curate? I just go and select based on the curate. Okay, so these are the functions, which means 69 functions on curate. How many are there, let's say, in analysis, analyze? Okay, there are about 71 functions in analyze. Now you see, get an idea? Classifier, Benford law. So you can become an expert in data analytics by using this function. And all these functions take less than 5 minutes for you to master. Once you know the tools, depending on the need, like a commando, use the tools which is required. Okay, now let's close this. Now I just want to do a quick analysis. Now this also I think we have done. Yes, now I need 10 minutes and then I'll go to the question and answers and have to complete my presentation. No, this I don't require. Yes, now let it come back. Yes, what I wanted you to do was, and show you, come back to Excel. Now these are the functions which I'm going to show you. One more software called as CAAT. CAAT is a software for exporting data from Tally to Excel. Now, many times you find you want data from Tally, you export from Tally, it doesn't come in a structured format. The value, numeric value doesn't come in numeric, the date doesn't come in date. So, and there are a lot of gaps between the transactions, you find you're not able to apply the Excel functions. So in this case, what we do is we provide you simple options for you to export the masters and the transactions, whether it's accounting, inventory, cost center, or payroll. And you can also get various GST related transactions, master reports. You can get various types of reports. Okay, let me start this. Now, these are all the functions that are available. Now, if you see here also, we get configure, document, what function I performed, I can also log. I can also get Excel log. I can also get activities log. All the functions in CAAT also is available. It tells me all the functions which are performed, what time the function is performed. So you have assigned to your staff, they come with a laptop and they have to show it to you, then you can clearly know what function was performed. Then you can find between two functions why there is so much time taken. So you make your expense analysis or the audit test and then give them the list. And then you can go through this. You can also view this in Excel. So this becomes a part of your audit record, which means it also helps in documenting the audit tests you performed. So these are all the functions available. I'll just show you maybe 4 or 5 functions here. I'm just taking, now I've picked up Tally. Now here I picked up a sample data for 2012 and 2013. Now if I go to DSS, now it gives me the, it should be able to give me statistics that totally 990 ochos, it gives me the complete information. Okay, now what I would like to do is I would like to export. Now here I come back to CAAT. Now here if you see, I want to pick up the general info. Now for the purpose of documentation, now I got company info, company features, etc. As a part of my audit documentation, first I said auditor prepares. I prepare this information. See, I'm able to run the query and information in a few clicks. So what are the features enabled in Tally? I get to know what is the system info, where it was performed, what is the statutory info, how it was given, what are the license info. This I'm running on demo. It works on demo version also, education version also. What are the company features which are enabled in the software? Okay, and what are the company info which is given? Everything I get at one shot. Let me go to another interesting aspect. Same thing, I come to CAAT. I want, now here I'm just showing the master info. Now here I want to pick up all the, these are the accounting masters I want. Okay, I want the expense ledger, ledger groups, all the things I want. I can also get for inventory, cost center, etc. I say okay. Now can I export this from Excel? You can also export this to start. Now just see the beauty. I'm going to get all this ledger, which means all the expense ledgers from Tally which are defined. I get this in one shot, including closing balances. In Tally, mine is supposed to be debit. Okay, so based on this, I can actually decide, okay, what are the expenses which are there, which are the expenses are higher, what are the area I want to audit. This itself I can convert as an audit plan or program and then write what are the type of tests I want to perform. Similarly, group configuration, for example, which head of account the bill wise is set, for which account cost center is set, for which subledgers available, is it a revenue item, does it affect gross profit? Like that, I can do various types of configuration is set in Tally. I can get it one shot. Similarly, voucher types, what are the voucher types which have been created? What are the numbering? Is it automatic or manual? I can get. Does that ledger voucher type affect the stock? Is it a manufacturing journal? Is it a tax invoice? All this information I get in one shot. Similarly, I have the ledger groups. Like that, I can get all the masters at one shot for everything. Now, I want GST related ledgers. In this, there will be nothing because this particular 1213. Okay. So let's come to queries. Now, if you look at query, there are automatic queries which are available. You want to pick up ledgers where the opening balance is 0 and the closing balance is 0, or opening balance is 0 or closing balance is 0. Like that, you can do various types of analysis. Okay, this query. Now, let me show you one important thing, which is the. Now, I want to extract the transactions from the daybook. Now we saw that total 990 transactions there. By default, it's picked up 1412 to 31/3, 2013. I got transactions narration. Yes, I got everything. I just say okay. Now the 990 transactions, it means all the transactions of all the ledgers I'm able to export and see it in one page. Now you can export from the daybook also from Tally and see the result you're getting here. Okay. Now what is the software doing? Now see, we already got the result. Now if you see here, all the data is formatted correctly. Okay, which means totally 2506 rows are there, 2505. If you remove the header, now I just apply Excel. I'm exporting Excel. Now I just want to see the data is correct. Just go here, month-wise I can see all the data has come correctly and therefore it's formatted correctly. Now here I want to pick up based on the ledger name. I can go and pick up based on the ledger name. I want to pick up, let's say, there's something called a go down rent. I see I've got this particular go down rent. I want to see what are the transactions which happened. I can get all the transactions which happened. Okay, the rent which has been paid, I can get to know. Month-wise, I can do the analysis, which means I can do a complete ledger scrutiny using this software. I want to pick up what are the transactions where the journal entries have been passed. Okay, I just say journal. I picks up all the journal entries and it gives me in one shot. Okay, now to pick up what are the sales, I can pick up the sales, which means I can do a detailed analysis based on this. I think one of a friend, Venkateshan Murli from Chennai, had written that he's got some 30,000 transactions. Based on the narration, he's doing a lot of analysis. Okay, this is what you can do, which means now if you see, I've got debit transactions. I can also do bill-wise transactions, ledger vouchers. Ledger voucher means for one debit, one credit. You pick up cash transactions, bank summary, like that you can extract. You can also extract the trial balance. Let's say I want ledger with groups. Now you're going to prepare schedule 3. Now I want percentage. I want opening balance, transactions, parent, closing balance, etc. Now see, I'll be able to get the trial balance from Tally. And now see how it's formatted. Name, parent, primary group, opening debit, opening credit. It gives me all the information. Okay. So the most important benefit of using this is you are able to do an analysis, which means you are able to get the data of the masters and the transactions in a structured way, so you can do further analysis. Now you got query masters. This is this one. What are that? Query masters, list of ledgers, voucher types. Now you got transactions pertaining to inventory, all the masters, everything is available. I just want to show you one thing, which is, let's say, report. Not reports, okay, analysis. Now in Tally, I think you got audit and compliance features. Okay, now you got account squared off doing there. All these things are available. I just say select all and say okay. Now I see all the data which is available in Tally. I should be able to get the audit features which are showing in Tally. For each of them, I have to run. Now you see it becomes a part of my documentation record. What are the transactions which have been squared off during the year? Okay, what are the transactions which there are no transactions during the year? What are the transactions which I have to verify? I can prepare my audit program based on this. What are the tables? Okay, I can get like this. Similarly, let's say in reports, there is one more thing. Analysis, I can also have audit. There is something called exceptions. Okay, now I got negative ledgers, all these things. All these things I can get at one shot. I just say, okay, click. See, all this information is just exported. And not only that, it creates automatically an index sheet. This becomes a part of your audit documentation. The auditor prepares. You prepare the audit steps based on the exceptions you found. Okay, verification balance payable not used, negative ledger. Why these ledgers are negative? So you can write your remark or prepare a separate sheet for each of them. Okay, now you got negative stock. You also got pending items. Like that, you'll be about highest, lowest transactions. Remember, I talked about maximum variance factor. Tally also I got similar one. Okay, transactions are done on a holiday. Like that, all these exceptions which are available now, you see for the fixed also you get with additions and deletions. Okay, overdue receivable, overdue payable, all these transactions information. If there are email IDs, we can get also the email IDs. Now here nothing is entered. You can get the address. Accounts open only during the current year, which means you can get everything at one shot. You also got various types of reports, registers, sales register, purchase register. We can perform trend analysis like that. So the idea I wanted to convey was that if you have got data analytics software, depending on your need, you can perform analysis required. There's one more software called as Tally Soft. This is software for importing data from Excel templates into Tally. Okay, you can also convert directly the bank statement. For example, I got the bank statement. I can open the bank statement in Excel and then enter the corresponding ledger, import it at one shot. Not only that, I can also import sales, vouchers, etc. So first I have got ready-made templates for masters, vouchers, and then based on that, I input the data and then import it. I validate it and then I can import into Tally. Okay, this gives you a complete summary of. We also got recordings which you can see. What I want to give you was the idea using data analytics. Using data analytics tools, the data analytics becomes much more easier and simpler. Okay, let me just come to my close of my presentation. Let's see, then we'll take up the questions. Okay, this is what we talked about, use cases. I've given you an idea. What is this CAAT all about? Adding MS Excel software, easy to use, simple to learn, look and feel of MS Excel, but with the power of the database. It has more than 300 functions. You can perform complex analysis in a few clicks. And not only that, this is documented automatically. Why use CAAT? This gives you an idea. Now let me give you some final tips and tips in 3 to 4 minutes. What is the concept of message I want to give you? You cannot use yesterday's tools and expect to be successful or relevant today or tomorrow. This is one important thing. Second, continuous learning and constant evolution is imperative for professionals today and every day. Now, just remember this. Now, we have been, many of our young CAs are affected by COVID and they're little apprehensive, pessimistic about what is going to happen. I thought this is a quote for them. A bird sitting on the branch of a tree is not worried about the strength of the branch or the winds. It has confidence in its wings. Similarly, as CAs, I'm sure we have got the knowledge, skill sets, and competencies which should help us to tide over any crisis. We are not worried about livelihood. We are concerned with how we can protect livelihoods and create livelihood for hundreds of our clients and their employees and our own employees and our stakeholders. Now, if you see, this is a publication, The Future Professional Accountant. If you look at the key skills and the roles, one of the first top skills is the data analysis. Now, 5 predictions about how an accounting practice might look in future. This is what they say. Manual data entry will be a thing of the past because systems will talk to systems. There is going to be instant relationship with your clients. The client says, I want this, immediately you are able to provide the service. There's going to be proactive alerts and responses. For example, you're selling to a customer who has already got a bad credit limit. Immediately you should be able to, before the transaction completes, you should be able to have proactive alert, and then based on that you give the response that you are selling to this particular client whose credit history is bad, or he has not he has been blacklisted or something like that. Similarly, if you're purchasing items at a particular rate, you have set up some triggers based on that. You'll be able to proactively tell him that generally you last time you bought at this rate, now you find average rate you are paying at a higher rate. Or you can tell him that maybe this material is also available at this rate from this particular seller. So it means you're looking at how you can be preemptive problem solver. By doing this, you're providing value to the client, and the client is able to afford and pay bigger fees to you because it perceives value by what you're providing. So CAATs is the road ahead for CAs. So data analytics and BI skills is what you need to require. So we need to upscale so that we can future-proof our career. Now look at this. And this is an interesting story, an idea which I got yesterday. You remember Stephen Covey have written a book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he talks about sharpen the saw. And he says quite often this is used by many management experts. They say if you got to cut 10 trees and you got 3 hours, spend maybe 1 or 2 hours in sharpening the saw, and then you can cut the tree. This I say is history. Now, if Stephen Covey was writing the book, now he would say automate the saw. Okay, now if you see the corporation earlier when the tree used to fall during the rainy season, there used to people come with a team of people used to come with the axe and the road would block for the whole day. Now they got an automatic sawing machine. They come with that particular lorry and finish the sawing within, cut the tree, measure it, and then cut it in different pieces. And within half an hour, the complete sawing is completed. So similarly, you should remember, it's not about sharpening the saw. It's also about automating the saw as required. So data analytics and BI skills provides hindsights, that is history. You also need to look at insights and foresights. Foresight is about the prediction of the future, which I showed you as an example. So thank you very much. I just want to conclude because we started with the story. I want to end with the story. It seems a famous professor was giving a lecture and he had fallen sick. So instead of wasting the time, he recorded the lecture and sent it with the driver to the class. And the driver told, professor cannot come today. He has recorded his lecture. You can listen and make notes on this. Second, also he was not well. So he again did the recording and sent it to the class. Third day he was well. But he said, let me see how the students have reacted to my recorded lectures. So he recorded the lecture, sent it to the driver, and about half an hour later, he went to the class. And he was astonished. In the class, his recorder was playing, but no student was there in the class. Instead of that, each of the students has left their own recorder. So these recorders were actually recording the recording done by the professor. Now, which means the information is being transmitted from the record player to the recorder. Now, if machines talk to machines, why are you required? Now, you know that as CAs, we have got the specific skills, and that's what we need to bring to the picture. There's nothing which can replace an auditor's judgment and skill, and that is going to be relevant and valuable if you can bring it to the picture, if you can bring it to play. I just wanted to leave with one simple analogy. Now let's look at A.R. Rahman. He's a music director. Can he play all the instruments? Maybe or maybe not. Can he play the instrument as well as his team? Maybe or maybe not. He cannot play all the musical instruments, but he is able to conceive the music in his mind, put the team in place, put the rhythm organizer, the music arranger, everything. He organizes them in sets, and each of the musician plays the music. Okay, each of the person plays the instrument. Now you can also play a piano, but will music come out of it or sound come out of it? So you should know which player to use, what the skill set you need to empower them with. But as a partner or as a senior or a manager, you should know what tools to use and how these tools should be deployed effectively as a team. And that's what is most important. And as a CA, I think we are more like a music director who's able to bring out the harmony in the music and provide value to the clients. So thank you very much. I hope it was useful and it was a great learning experience for me. I hope it was also for you. This is an article reference which again, accelerating analytics to navigate COVID-19 and next normal, which gives you information about how analytics is actually playing a very critical role in the current age. I remember one analogy. Just let me close this. You remember the ant walking on the carpet? Assume it's an Excel. The ant is walking on the carpet. The carpet has got red, blue, and other patterns. What is that the ant can see? The ant can see red, it can see blue, it can see green, like that. It can see different. It can view different colors at different times depending on what it's walking. Now, same thing, you take up a fly, it's flying on the carpet. What is the view of the fly? Now, do you think it's able to see the patterns? Same thing, you take it to the next level, you look at eagle which is flying in the sky. Now, do you think it has got a different perspective? Data analytics is all about perspective. How you can move from the micro to the macro, or you can come down from the macro to the micro. As CAs, we are supposed to be architects of information. So we should be able to visualize the architecture of the information and then be able to provide insights to the management. And we cannot get insights when you are crawling like an ant in the carpet. So sometimes the tools, I'm not saying Excel is bad or any, depending on the need, use the tool which is required. Now, if you've seen the comparison, you would have seen that some cases Excel could be good, use Excel. Some cases data analytics is required, use it. If Tally has got reporting features, is useful, use it. So as a music director, depending on whether you need to play the bansuri or the piano, whatever you want to play the music depending on the need, so that overall you get music. Thank you very much. Narasimhan, over to you. Sorry, I took a little more time.
No worries, sir. It was definitely worth, because I think all the participants have totally enjoyed. This was actually a fun filled as well as a learning session with a lot of knowledge, and not just on analytics. It was learning on other aspects of life as well. Correct. So I think that is something which you always add value, and I'm really, really happy for bringing in that. Thank you so much, Rafiq sir. So I'll quickly take a few questions. So if you could just quickly come onto the navigation screen. There are lots of appreciations which are pouring in the WhatsApp, in the YouTube chat. So I will probably take them towards the end, and I'll quickly push the critical questions.
Come to the questions. Thanks for all the appreciation. Now, what is important? I don't need appreciation. Thanks for all your appreciation. Now, what I want you to do is, now can you bring a change in the mindset? The value of the knowledge is not having it, but in using it. So if I have inspired you to use your knowledge in a much better way, I'd be more than happy. And I'll be glad to help you in any way you want.
All right. So there's a question which is popped. Yeah. There's a question which is come up in front of your screen. If you could just navigate there.
Let me see. Okay. Yes, how do I go to, which is the screen I need to navigate? Okay.
You will have to go back to the StreamYard. Yeah.
This one? Now, StreamYard. Yes. Yes, sir. Can you search some checkpoints to take an HR audit like we generally leave? See, any audit to do is very simple. Understand the business process rules, understand what are the controls. Based on that, you can decide what is the checklist. I'm not going to give the checklist. Depending on the audit objective, decide the checklist. For example, recently I did an industrial course on data analytics, and this presentation was made by a medical doctor. He was talking about how you can do data analytics on medical records. How you can navigate based on what are the patient utilization, hospital utilization, bed utilization. Now, what are the parameters for data analytics for that particular hospital depending on the business case? So you decide in this particular case, what are the key things which are important depending on the field, and decide. There'll always be ready-made checklists which are available. You have to customize and use as required.
Wonderful. The next question is on Benford law. If you can probably throw some light.
Yeah, it's a simple thing. I cannot answer considering the time is too short. If you just search, ask Google Guru, what is Benford law? He'll give you a lot of information. The simple rule is Benford was a statistician, was working in the American Department of Census. He discovered this by chance when he found the log papers which are there. The initial papers were torn out much compared to the later papers, which is 1, 2, 3 like that. Then he found probably the number of times people are referring to one is much higher. And based on that, he did the statistical formula. Based on that, he found the number of any random population take. The probability to start with 1 is actually 30%. The probability to start with 9 is 4.6%. So what you do is you apply this Benford law to any random population. So you take the Benford law statistics, it computes the actual statistics based on the value, you find out the difference. And then you do further investigation as required. Benford law gives you indication of where the problems could be.
Wonderful, sir. There's another question. There's something on TCAT.
Yeah, CAAT is a software which is useful primarily, as said, for exporting the masters and transactions. There is also a feature for doing a GST matching, which means purchase the input credit or for the sales that has been made. You can download the JSON file, and from that value, you can directly make the comparison and find out which are the sales which are matching. For example, input credit has been taken by you, or the input credit, this one has not been uploaded by the seller. Like that, you can do an analysis. You can also do that analysis. There are also a lot of tools available for this one. Yeah.
Okay. Mahendra is asking, where do I get all these tools and the training?
See, there are hundreds and thousands of tools. What is important is pick up the tools which are required based on your need. Pick up what is the pain point based on your practice. You may know that specific things you want to focus on. Pick up this particular thing and start using one by one. Don't try to do a PhD on what are the tools and techniques are available. Pick up one tool. For example, I showed you something. Let's say I showed you an outlier. I showed you Pareto. You are expert in Excel. Use Excel and build up a test case. Maybe required make up a macro for this one. Or you want to buy the tool and start using this. Okay, we've got 300 functions. Let's say most of customers may be using only 20 to 30% of the functions. The data analytics software could be like a buffet, which is there in a 5-star hotel. You don't need to eat each and everything. Pick up what you want depending on your taste of the day. Okay,
Wonderful.
Similarly, don't try to get research. Pick up for your area what are the tool you want, or based on your future needs, what is that you want to get into.
Wonderful, sir. So this is a compliment.
Online courses, maybe Narsim is also looking at that. Maybe we'll come back to you later with some specific data analytic courses where we'll customize these courses for, let's say, GST audit, internal audit, like that.
Wonderful. So this is another compliment.
Thanks a lot, perhaps.
So this is a question. There are two parts of the question. So this is one of the question.
Yeah. Okay, I got the question now. See, it's very simple. So we got another. Okay, whether any possibility to convert manual invoice. See, you should know very clearly what is the perspective of the software. Data analytics software, it requires the data to come to you in Excel. Now, if the data is available manually, so there are software available where you can convert from the manual format to a soft copy format. From the soft copy format, you can also read. There are robotic process automation tools available from which you convert the data and get into Excel. Then you can use the data analytics software. Data analytics software is not a data conversion software. It can purify the data, but it cannot convert the data. Okay, so the best suggestion I would give is, if there's a manual invoice, unless it's a purchase invoice, go back to the system and ask, okay, whether this data is available in a soft copy. Okay, if it's available in a soft copy, then get the soft copy and directly you can use it for analysis.
Wonderful. This is one more compliment, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm happy that it was useful. I spent a lot of time thinking about what could I communicate to you.
Yeah.
How to select the tools? Raghu Vaman. Okay, let me see. Raghav Hanuman. Okay. So how to select the tools based on the data provided, how to decide? Simple. Now for the data, which each one has their own unique way of doing the audit. So you decide if you're going to do a GST audit. Based on the GST audit, what are the requirements you have and how do you do the audit? Okay, you are using Excel now. Okay, same thing if you're doing Excel, can you broad base and then expand and use the audit tools? Okay, like I showed you 20 functions. You can apply this to GST audit, you can apply to internal audit, you can apply to tax audit. For example, I'm doing a tax audit. I want to pick up all cash transactions which are more than, let's say, 20,000 rupees. or I want to pick up all purchase more than 25,000 rupees. I can use that. So depending on the need, pick up the specific functions.
Wonderful. This is another compliments to you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Guru.
This is my friend from Trivandrum. He's consistently attending all the sessions.
Thanks,
I'm sure you know him as well.
Yes, yes. He's a great supporter and he's a user of our software also.
Wonderful. All right, so this is somebody also acknowledging that yes, this is indeed practical.
Okay, thanks a lot, Damodaran. See, I wanted to bring the trend now. If you see, Narasimha has designed the course so well. We went from the concepts and then we went into Excel. Now we're getting to next end, which is the tools, and now we go to the other high end. So like that, I think we're getting into the complete range. It's like a 5-star buffet. Now, depending on the need, you pick what you want, and then decide how you want to apply it.
Okay, this is a question. Is there a similar tool which can be used in SAP environment?
No, see, if you look at SAP and more, in the case of SAP, in fact, you can say it becomes tougher or it becomes easier. SAP has by default, there are two ways you can look at it. SAP has by default report writers where you can export any data which you want. For example, purchase data, any, the sales data, everything. You can export into database format, text format, or Excel format. So simple thing in that case is you export the data from SAP in the Excel format or database format, open the data in Excel, and you can do the analysis. And that's what one of my friends is doing. In fact, he did 10 years back. So you just export the data, sales data which is there, and then use the data analytics software or use Excel to do further analysis. The second option is there are some data analytics software which have integration with SAP. Okay. In that case, what it will do is it will actually read the tables depending on what you want. You want to do purchase analysis, sales analysis, inventory analysis. It can interrogate the tables and then pick up the relevant information and give you import into the data analytics tool, and you can perform analysis as required. So the simpler option is where you don't need to spend too much of money. Directly take SAP, use the report writer, and export the data which is required in the format in which you want.
Wonderful, sir. This is the latest question which has come. Is there any portal or somewhere where we can get regular updates?
Okay, this I think maybe I'm jumping the gun. Narasimhan, this one Anand and I are part of a group. In fact, yesterday only we got this one mandate from ICI to develop a publication on how CAs can become virtual CA firms. And yesterday only we finalized the TOC and we've shared it with the ICI. This Saturday we're going to have a video con call based on that. Probably in a 4 to 6 week we'll come out with the publication, which will also have reference of all the tools in each of these areas. Probably that could be useful. It could be publication or it could also be available. Some of these software tools, everything could be mentioned. So that becomes a quick reference point.
Wonderful. Sir, a couple of questions coming in. How do I get this ECAT, TCAT, E2T?
Okay, what I suggest, see, these are pricing details. I don't want to use this forum because this was knowledge sharing. So what I suggest is you have got my email ID. This one, I think you can just send it to rafeq@wincat.com. You can send me the query. Our sales team will get back to you on this one. Okay, we kept the pricing very low and most of it is affordable. You can just try it out.
And
thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, there is an option for reconciliation between the GSTR2E and GST record. But the problem is we have done it, our development team has done it, but we have not really tested it with actual live data. So it'd be great, I think, if you can buy it and then test it, or maybe we can give a beta version, you can test it out. Thanks, Nikhil, for your question.
Yeah. So I think that's about it, sir. So we have almost come to the end.
Thanks, Yogiraj. Thanks, Yogiraj Navle, for his compliments. Thanks a lot for Narasimhan for this one opportunity. I was a little tensed this one, how do I present depending on the time, but I'm really glad that everything went off well. And thanks for this opportunity.
Yeah, and sir, they're asking your email address and contact coordinates. How can they reach out to you?
No, I think probably what you can do is you just add it in this chat window. You have my email.
I will probably do that.
Yes.
I will just add it in the chat window. How you can reach out to sir.
Yeah, you can. Listen, those who are interested can get back to me because this is not a marketing show. This is primarily to share knowledge on how data analytics could be used. I just use my tools because I spent more than 10 years in developing these tools. Use these tools or use whichever tools is required.
Wonderful. So I thank all of them for attending this session. So this session is across a little more than 2 hours, but I think a lot of information is there and a lot of knowledge was shared. So first of all, sincere thanks to Rafiq sir for
Thank you
always
very much.
giving us the right direction. And he not only gave a perspective of analytics, I think he went beyond that. He gave a perspective of life, how to look into life beyond COVID, and how we should approach these opportunities. I wish and hope that all the participants and the listeners make the best use of it. And since this is available in YouTube and this is going to continue to be there in the YouTube channel, feel free to always revisit this whatever questions and clarifications are there. On that note, thank you so much, sir. So dear
Thank you.
participants, we will meet tomorrow again at 11 a.m. and tomorrow is going to be yet another exciting session, and tomorrow's session is on Power BI, one of Microsoft's flagship product on analytics, which they've been flaunting since a good number of years. And Excel is eventually evolved into what's called as Power BI. And we have a speaker from Mumbai who's joining us, so we will listen to him tomorrow at 11. Until then, I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you so much. Stay connected. Stay safe. Bye bye.
Thank you. Namaste. Bye.